Hi everyone, welcome back to New Dram Drinker and welcome back to the Whiskey Corner. We've got another whiskey for you this week, so you watch this little cinematic. I'm going to pour myself a little dram of the whiskey, then we'll get on with the review. So as you saw from that video, it is the Johnnie Walker Blue Label. Everybody knows it, don't they? It's Johnnie Walker, it's the Blue Label. It's one that you see on the top shelf of bars. They're charging you a fortune for a dram every time you go for a meal, and kind of even non-whiskey drinkers know it. That is kind of why we've actually got a bottle, because it was for our daughter's wedding and it was our thing that you bring that's blue to that wedding, and I needed to buy a whiskey that even non-whiskey drinkers would have a drink of at the end of the night, thinking it was a kind of exquisite whiskey that, you know, everybody should have. And it kind of fits the bill, doesn't it? There's not many others that you think that non-whiskey drinkers are going to know of, and this is just perfect for that kind of thing. We're going to move on now to reviewing it, and we will start with the bottle. Okay, so onto the bottle, and you're going to hear a lot of this because as I'm doing it, there's this little tag on the side like a metal disc, and it's going to make that noise, so just ignore that. But it's a stunning bottle. I mean, what can you say? I mean, it does scream value for what you've paid for it. I mean, we paid £100 from Costco, which is a good price for this, to be honest. I mean, it can be anything from £135 up to £160, maybe even more. So I don't. Sometimes it can vary quite a lot. But yeah, £100 from Costco, and I would say the bottle, it definitely screams that kind of price for me. I mean, on the bar it looks amazing. It's just got the lovely blue glass, and just you know me, in a square bottle, it's got that kind of squareness. This little tag that I said with the little metal disc is just a nice little touch. I don't know what it actually does. I think it was when you ripped off the foil. But yeah, I mean, awesome, really nice looking bottle. I like the gold and the blue. I did go onto the internet to have a look at how many different versions there are of this, and there's quite a few. I didn't realise there was as many as there is, so I'll bring a few up while we're talking about it now on the screen so you can have a look at them. But there's probably many more than this. This was just the few that I found on a quick kind of Google search. But yeah, I mean, they'd look amazing on the shelf, all lined up next to each other, I would imagine. But you'd have to have some money, because I think this is the cheapest one, I think, of the blue labels that you can get. So, I mean, I'd like to have more for an aesthetically kind of pleasing look on the bar. We'll get to whether I think the whiskey inside is worth bothering in a minute. But yeah, I mean, overall, great looking bottle. Love it, love the design, and yeah, it looks premium to me. Well worth the money for that. So yeah, should we move on to the colour? Okay, so onto the colour. Now, I'm under the impression that this is coloured, so it's hard to really give it any rating kind of based on its colour, because you know it's not a real kind of representation of what it would be. But I mean, just showing you now, it is a nice rich gold colour. Looks very similar to the gold that's on the bottle, to be honest, so I can imagine that's probably what they're aiming for, just trying to keep it all kind of that uniform colour palette kind of thing. Yeah, it looks nice, but it's not real, is it? So yeah, let's move on to the nose. Okay, so onto the nose. Let's go in and see what this has got to offer. I'm expecting big things. Okay, so instantly I would say there's a perfumey kind of note going on. It's there's a fruit, very sugary. There's a hint of like a mustiness. maybe a nuttiness going on as well. It's quite a... I'm not getting an awful lot, to be honest. It seems very... It's a very thin nose. I'm just getting the same things. It's just a mustiness. It's only 40%, so it's not screaming high ABV on the nose. It's not, you know, which it isn't going to, is it? Maybe a few more fruity kind of elements come in, so a bit grassy. But it's not a complex nose in the slightest. Maybe a touch of caramel. Other than that, not a lot. I'm going to go to my notes, which I've been taking all week on it. Yeah, grassy note, musty sugars. Yeah, this is a good point. Interesting but simple. So its simplicity almost drags you in, because you know how much you paid for it. You know what you're expecting, and because you're not almost getting a nose that's worthy of that, I think you give it more of a hunt. You're trying to almost get your money's worth out of it on the nose, and I just don't think it's there. I think it's just a very simple nose, to be honest. There's a slight, like, vegetal kind of note there as well. I can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, it's like a slight, just something that's off. I don't mean off as in like, you know, off. I mean like there's just something that's a little wrong. I can't put my finger on what it is. What else to say? Nutty. Slight furniture polish. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think that might come back down to the perfume note that I said, that, you know, you get that kind of furniture polish on kind of wood. It's just, it's got that kind of smell, hasn't it? I think that's that. And sugar, yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple. There wasn't much on my notes that I'm not picking up now, to be honest. Yeah, relatively simple nose. I mean, the legs on it are fairly decent, but that would be because, I mean, there's reportedly kind of up to a 60-year-old whiskey in here. How much? Probably a pipette or something of it in there. But yeah, I mean, it's decent legs on it. But yeah, it doesn't, you know, some whiskies make me want to drink it. I would say I'm going to drink it, but it doesn't, like, it didn't fill me with kind of, oh, I need to drink this. Just okay, yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the palate. Okay, so initially peppery, quite overpoweringly peppery, to be honest. A little bit of fruit comes through after, but not, that pepper note is quite strong. It's took me aback a little bit, because it's such, it wasn't a note I was expecting to be at the forefront of it. I don't know what I was expecting, but it just seems such a strong note. The like I say, the fruits are there, sugars are there, spice, there's a little bit of a tingle going on. That pepper though. It's a thin note as well on the, you know, it's a thin palate. It's got, there's no creaminess to it. It doesn't seem to hang together very well. It's like, it's all the pepper. There's some ash going on. There's some smoke. But that pepper just seems just too powerful to me for it. It just seems to, you know, like we've talked about before, where whiskies that are nicely balanced let all the flavours within it kind of have their part to say. The pepper just seems to be going, no, this is my show, you know, you guys aren't getting through. That's a shame, because I wasn't expecting the pepper. Saltiness as well. Maybe like a salted caramel, because that you've got that almost. I wouldn't say a bourbon note, because I don't get the vanillas and the raisins and things like that. I've just got like the caramel, but it's slightly bourbon, but only a touch. But then the salt, and almost, once you get the salt and the pepper, they become the main two notes. But the salt takes a little while to kick in. It's all pepper, then you get a little bit of the fruit in the middle, then you get the salt, and then the salt and the pepper seem to close in and then overpower everything else, so you got a real salty, peppery kind of note, which isn't a note that I'm that keen on. I'm more of a sweet tooth kind of. I like the sweeter whiskies, not the salty ones. So it's not really fitting the bill for me, should we say. I'm going to go to my notes I've put in the week, see if there's anything of that. Higher ABV than expected. I think that's just the pepper, to be honest. I don't think that's actually, it's 40%. I'd say now at this moment it tastes like a 40% whiskey. The ABV isn't really knocking my socks off or anything like that. Nutty, yeah, I mean there's that again. Nutty's fine, that's in there. Char, smoke, pepper, thin, which is what I said. Salty, which is what I said. Word I use here, uninspiring, and I think I'm going to stick to that, to be honest. It doesn't do anything for me at all. It's just too one note on that pepper, and then it's just not. It doesn't fit my palate very well at all. No depth to it. Again, I agree. It's just that pepper, and the things just. It's almost like you got a cap on it with that pepper, and all the notes are bouncing off it and just can't get through to you. So yeah, and I think I might have been having a bad day when I wrote this, because I wrote devoid of any journey, and I think that comes off the back of my last review that I did. Took back to like a holiday with the kids and things like that, and it was a joyful kind of whiskey to try. This one doesn't do anything like that. I mean, that's just me. I mean, to you it may, because this may remind you of something. We're all different. But I'm getting nothing from this. It's literally just it's just a dram that I probably would have been given on a night out, and I wouldn't have even questioned what it was. It probably would have just drank it and it would have gone, and I never even would have picked up on what it was. It just would have been a dram. There's nothing special about it, which is really strange, which is unfortunate, especially when you think of the price of it. So yeah, what can I say? Okay, so the finish. Let's see if it gets any better. Guess what? It's peppery. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I mean, it's so one note all the way through that it's really disappointing, to be honest. I'm really disappointed in it. I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's kind of took me a little bit aback that it's this bad in a way. And I mean, this is obviously just my opinion, so don't maybe try to make your own opinion up, because I've never done a review. I don't think that I've felt this disappointed in a whiskey before. You just expect more. I expected more. I just thought it would be a bit more of an event whiskey, and it would just be nicer, to be honest. Pepper on the finish, thin, short. It disappears quickly in your mouth, which I'd say I'm grateful for. Makes me want to go and get another whiskey off the bar and have a dram of that instead. Something that's probably far cheaper. But yeah, suppose we should have ordered it, shouldn't we? So, onto the award. It's not hard because it's relatively easy to award. It almost names itself. So the award this is going to get is, it gives me the blues. And it does. It's so sad that it's not what it should be to me. I want to emphasise that there's plenty of people out there that probably love this whiskey, and that is fair play to them. That if it fits your taste and it's got the palate that you like, then fire. If you love peppery whiskies and that is the note that you love with some salt coming in at the end, a little bit of sugar, this is for you. Don't get me wrong, you know, it's just not very well balanced, and to me it's just not where I am in what I enjoy to drink. And that comes to it, doesn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, some people like curries, some people like China, you know, you're all different. So you just got to find the ones that you like and kind of stick to it. Whether you're going to spend £130, £160 to find out, that is the question. I wouldn't have bought this for any other reason other than the wedding. It was just a whiskey that kind of, you hear through the grapevine that it may be not as good. It's probably a £60, £70 whiskey in essence. But I probably wouldn't have bought it because it's just not one that kind of I would buy for that kind of money. I don't spend that kind of money usually. It was a wedding present. So yeah, I'm glad I had a reason to buy it and I didn't kind of waste my own money on it, if you know what I mean. I would have rather have bought 4 £40 bottles or something like that for the money. So yeah, I mean, disappointing, but give it a go if you want to. One thing I will say before I go is that Nick actually, her notes on this are a lot different to mine. Hers are a lot more bourbony, and the vanillas and the rye. She does get all that. She likes the peppery note, but it doesn't disguise all the other flavours for her. So she's got an Instagram post that she lists her notes on it. So maybe check that out. I'll give you a link up the top, of where to go to read that if you want to. Just so you've got kind of a varying kind of idea of what you may get from it. This is just my opinion on it. You can read Nick's there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not a lot else I can say, is there? It's just kind of, Nick's got a whole bottle of whiskey to drink, basically, because I'm not going to touch it again. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to join our Certified Original Members Club, I'll put a link for you to follow in the description, and I'll put it down the bottom as well so you can see where to go to sign up. It's free. We'd love to have you. Lots of stuff going on in there. You can win coins and all kinds of different things. So take a look at that if you wish to. Remember to subscribe and comment. We love that. We love seeing them. We say it at the end of every video, doesn't everybody? But yeah, we'd love to see your comments, love to see you subscribe, and love to see you in our members group. So thank you for watching. Unfortunately, I've got some whiskey left in my glass, so I've got to pour it, drink it, enjoy it, and then throw it down the sink. Pour it, drink it, enjoy it. Cheers, guys.
I thought you were going to say about how having one of those would elevate a bar.
Well, that was the plan originally, but now I've tried it and it's probably got no hope. It's shit.